Oh, right. Spring is winding down. I think Wednesday, we have the solstice show on the 21st.
Oh,
The solstice is like 11 in the morning or something. So don't want to miss that. Oh,
is that what it is?
I've always noticed that the Dead never stepped up in the huge situations, Woodstock, Monterey, they were mediocre sets. They weren't. I mean, Woodstock, they were plagued by problems, but it just seemed like when they were put on the big stage, they were like, bah. I don't know. Anyway, Bucket. We open up with Bucket. There we go. And the jam was shorter in the beginning than the one at Star Lake. I think it had a little more meat on the bone there, but like we've talked about, I'm not sure the Bucket gets up to speed quick enough.
Yeah. And what do you call them? The decadent songs or the
Degenerate?
Yeah, the degenerate songs. Yeah. Yes, yeah, I don't know. I thought tonight's was a decent opener though. Yes, to your point, it didn't quite, it needed to get going, but it was a little bit quicker of a song to open with than the other night. And obviously night 2, you can kind of get into it a little bit quicker, I felt like. So I thought it was an appropriate song to open with. I thought there was some hot guitar licks in there from Mayer. Some, like, we talk about the 80s sound and some of these songs, and I felt like there was some real guitar 80s sounds going on in there. And for an opening song, I thought he was hitting some pretty good licks to start out with, like coming through. And I thought Bobby sounded good. I thought he was nailing the vocals on it really well, and I thought it was a good upbeat.
I'm gonna go with the engine never turned over in this set. They were revving it, they were trying to start it, and it just the engine never caught.
I don't know. I feel like, I think there were a few songs tonight that really got past expectations. And I think especially in the first set, I thought the run of the first 3, 4,
the Bucket Sugaree.
Yeah, the Bucket Sugaree. That's
a classic kind of opener though from the 80s. Sugaree was always in the 2 spot or early in the first set.
But again, I thought tonight, I don't know. I was never a big fan of Helena Bucket back in the day when the Dead were playing.
I love that one.
I always felt like it was just such a cheesy, weird song. But now it's actually like, I like it because it feels nostalgic to me. And it makes me nostalgic for the time when I hated the song. Like, you have to go back to that time, But now I actually like it, and I dig it. Like, it was fun, and I liked what they did with it tonight. I thought it jammed in some places. So
you're opening the can of worms with Barlow's lyrics there, because you said that it was cheesy. Is that the phrase you use?
Oh yes, it's got just some of those lines in it that I just can't. Like, yeah, I know you want to. We talk about it all the time with his lyrics though, like, whereas Hunter is like Americana and cowboys and campfire stories and like dirt roads and dusty trails and like horses, Barlow is like 70s and 80s like exploitation films and like sitcoms and scripted television, like The Greedy Corporation and Wall Street, and like it's like different era of songs and different storytelling and different like writing and poems a lot of times. So it's just, I don't know, some of his songs do that. But he also writes, he also does some great one. Like, I love Estimated, right? Like Cassidy, like there's some good Weather Report. Some of those do hit that.
Oh, we're gonna have fun when we get later in this set. All right, so the half step, where I am on half step, but I tell you what, the Mr. Charlie, the segue into it, I granted it an arrow. I felt like it was, and it's the second time they did this. So it's the second time they've been paired together, and I like that.
Yeah. I know. And I really thought this run of 4 of those songs really, really were well. I thought just Sugaree, that bluesy Mayer, we got into that early and ripped through that. The half step I thought had, again, like, I know where you're at it, but man, when they flip that transition and get to the other side of it, it's just so good, and it goes, and I love it, and it sounds so good. And then the Mr. Charlie, I know I texted you on the side and I was like, how many times have they done this one? Like, I feel like I haven't heard it that much, but it was the third time. So it felt like it had a little bit.
And like we said, 2 of them were paired with half step.
Right.
So,
Right. So it's kind of
yeah.
getting that. I like it though. It has a good, it does. I like the transition into it. Like it was a good, slow down
they
and
hit
then
it.
the pick up and get into it. Yeah. And then the
So,
real slow down with Friend of the Devil.
right, which we talked about. You said something, and I was like, my note was the extra verse. I think there's a reason Jerry never said it in the song. It's a cool lyric. I love the whole thing about it, but it doesn't fit the song really.
I think, yeah, and what I'd said to you, we talk about it a lot with Bobby, and like I said at the first Hell in a Bucket, I thought he crushed tonight. Like his songs, great, he nails some of them perfectly, and then there's that change in some of the other ones where he's changing that storytelling things, and in some songs it's really obvious, like when he goes with Mayer, and tonight, like this is one of those songs where Mayer, the way he sings it is the way I just personally prefer to hear the song told and sung. And then when Bobby steps in sometimes, and that's what I texted you, I was like, oh man, Bobby on some of these lyrics just it kind of fights against the way Mayer sings it and stuff. So it's different. It is what it is. But yeah, and like to your point on that other lyric, yeah, it just kind of drags the song out a little bit longer than it needed to
Right.
be. So
It's I think part of it is that we're so used to hearing it that way. And what Hunter said is he thinks that he gave Garcia the lyric after Jerry had put the rest of the lyrics as the song. And Jerry was like, there's no place for this in the song.
And it makes sense. That kind of is
Yeah.
Stories told. Like it kind
But then Hunter on his Jack of Roses LP does it with it, but he plays the music different because he does this guitar thing. I think he has a 12 string because he gets a jangly thing and then he also plays a lead lick with it, kind of thing. So anyway, all right, Sailor Saint. You are not a Sailor Saint person.
I'm not. Here's what I'll say. I don't like Sailor. I appreciate getting into Saint. I think it's fun when it breaks down. I can see why people enjoy like the moment and getting into it. And I always like those beats. And if you like it, great. It's not for me. Those are just,
all right,
that's
so
just my
earlier you mentioned Weather Report. Let me say Let It Grow may have had Barlow's best standalone line in the Stood Inside the Rain and Listened to the Thunder Shouting I Am. That is a beautiful line. Poems, whole worlds could be built around that line. It's so fantastic. But as a multi-part composition, Sailor Saint is superior on so many levels. It's a song by a grown-up, not an idealist 23-year-old. And you have to remember with Barlow, he did 5 of the 9 tracks on Built to Last, 3 with Brent and Picasso Moon, which I know you probably say the Picasso Moon lyrics are goofy, but I think it's one of Weir's late era masterpieces.
I always liked that song though. The first show I went to, they played it. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for that song. And We Can Run, like the Brent song on that album, always like that song is beautiful, and the way Brent sung it was beautiful. Like I loved that tune. So I'm just saying there's elements to it, whereas there's certain ones that he goes a little in places that I don't. But Bobby does too, like in some of his. So it's fine. It's just those. It just is what it is. He also writes some great ones. So
Garcia didn't like being called out for being a dope addict, so that's why the Dead stopped doing it. He was like, "Fuck you, Bobby. I don't want to hear that."
Exactly. Right. And then, and even like Brother Esau, like I miss some of these songs. Like we've talked about that. I wish they'd play that.
Where's
like
Brother Esau? Where is that?
So there's.
I don't think the band knows it. I think I searched for it and it's been a while, or if they might not have ever played it. It comes up for like Bobby playing it with Wolf Brothers. I think so. And then Big Railroad Blues, great closer, John. Let's throw it on John to take us out.
And just like we've talked about, needing that punch, that fun punch to close it out. Perfect song, like great ripper, great as a bluesy ripper, which is what his wheelhouse is right now.
And Jimmy Rogers is the kind of lyricist that fits what Mayer sings. So we're not gonna doubt that. So should we show the thing again? Hey, what's up, Eric?
Yeah, do it. It's tomorrow. You might as well, right?
It's not tomorrow.
Oh, it's Wednesday.
It's Sunday. Yeah, this is Wednesday.
I have to have it done tomorrow.
Take the banner. Let's take the banner down. Like, subscribe, follow. If you're watching this later, leave a comment. If you're now, you can leave a comment. You notice that we hardly ever pull things up because it's just the two of us, and
No
it's
producer
hard
in
to
the
pay
house.
attention to more than one thing at a time. So, we will be back on Tuesday and Wednesday. But Wednesday, hold on to your seats. We have something coming. We're going to run this. Now, the guy says 6 days. It isn't 6 days. It's Wednesday, whenever that is, the 21st. But check it out.
Hey folks, this is a little favor from God Street Wine.
This is Tomo from God Street Wine, and you might be wondering, where have we been for the last 4 years?
Today's an exciting day because today we're announcing that in 6 days we will have an announcement. What we'd love for you to do is tune in to Wook Plus. Next Wednesday, we'll have an interview with me and Tom. We'll talk about all things related to God Street Wine.
We've got a little secret, a God Street Wine secret. We can't tell you yet, but if you tune into Wook Plus on the 21st of this month, you'll find out.
Wednesday on Wook Plus, our exclusive interview and special announcement from God Street Wine.
Don't miss it.
Right. And that will be at 6:15 is what we're looking at. Because if you know God Street Wine, the song in the background was 6:15.
Look at that. Released on 6:15. It's a lot of 6:15 theme going on here.
Yep, Dave didn't like that. He said, "Where's the fast forward button?" So
Dave's not
all
a
right,
God Street
fast
Wine
forward.
fan.
It's, in case you forgot, Sunday. We talked
Sunday.
about Samson last night, and boom, there he was, right out the gate.
Right out the gate. Right there in the second set. I was a little bummed we didn't get our Feel Like a Stranger tonight. I was totally expecting that, but had a feeling we'd definitely get the Samson. Had a feeling once we got the Samson, we'd get the Help Slip Frank in its run, which we got both of them, which was fantastic. But that Samson, great way to open the set. Always a pleaser. Like it always, the thing about it is it always makes me think what's coming next or what's to come after it. It's one of those setup songs, so you always kind of have a good feeling of what's coming in the set. And then that Bobby ending with his like, that's right. It's great.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Hey, again, we're coming on this theme over and over again with the blues songs. So, you know, Samson and Delilah, it's Reverend Gary Davis. It's written by one of the Piedmont blues guys out of North Carolina, who, interestingly enough, got arrested for threatening the government because he was singing the song in front of the courthouse in New Orleans.
Oh yeah,
he probably would have got arrested for something anyway, just because he was the wrong color in New Orleans in the early 1900s. But that's another.
but that's
story.
an interesting bullshit. So interesting.
Yeah, it is. But Samson it stands alone. It's great as it is, and then we get a fourth playing. Playing never disappoints, but playing also is almost a tease to me. I feel like it never breaks. It rides the wave, and then the wave it never breaks and crashes.
It's yes, but it's always a consistent jam vehicle that has like a fantastic. It's like their tweezer, or it's like, I guess you'd flip it around and say tweezer is like playing for fish. Like
Right.
it's that blank canvas that once you get through it and into whatever, it just opens up and you can do whatever you want and go wherever you want. And then just like tweezer, it has the reprise that comes back in the encore. So it really is like that song, but it always has that, who knows where it's going to go, what's going to happen tonight, like where are we going to go, is it going to come back, are we going to get thread throughout, is it going to, like, where are we going with it? So I love it. I thought it was a great place to put it, like second song in the second set, setting up the Help Slip Frank. I mean, come on, like that was just masterfully planned. It was such a great setup, and I thought that jam, I mean, there was such a great two-tiered jam there, right? Like they go off, they kind of come back into it. You get up the setup for it to come back in, and then immediately it breaks back down into like this crazy other jam.
You were big on the playing, apparently.
Big on the playing. I thought it was.
Someone just said that it was the best play in a tour. I do not know that. I have not, There you go. So
Yeah.
I might have to go back and take a listen again. Then we get
Yeah.
Help Slip
Yeah.
Franklin's. It has not been split up. I don't think we're going to get like a Stranger Franklin's or anything before this organization stops doing what it's doing. But Help on the Way, like we always say, it's standard. There isn't much you can do with it. It's a song. It's built into the structure. It is. Even on the album, Help Slipknot was one track listed as, So,
I mean,
but I noticed this thing late in the second set in Philly. Clemente started playing this jazz lick of this song, and it was driving me crazy. Listened to it the next day when I came home. Still couldn't figure it out. He did it again in Slipknot tonight. I'm gonna have to get some timestamps and throw maybe some of our viewers onto that and see if we can figure out what this is, because it's just it's an earworm.
It's interesting because that jam went to some places. That thing, they got into it, like coming through the Help into the Slip was fantastic again tonight. The Slip was a really fun slip inside of that one. Got some good jam in there, and then coming out in the Franklins, hitting that, coming into it was fantastic. That shot of Jeff was hilarious. I don't know if anybody else saw it on the webcast, but the shot of Jeff right before they went to the Franklins with the look to camera and the smile, it's like the Page face on my that I have pinned on my thing. It just cracks me up. The keyboard guys always give the best faces sometimes when they know they're going into something. So that was brilliant, cracked me up. And then that Franklin's, I thought tonight's was better than the Wrigley, right? Was that the last one we got? Yeah,
Yep.
a week ago or last week or whatever. Yeah. I thought tonight's was far superior to that one, because even in that one we talked about, it was like a slower, not as like quick jam Franklin's, and I thought tonight's was like just on fire the whole way through. Like I thought there was some great interactions going on in that thing too, between even O'Teal and Mayer and Jay, and of course Jeff. But it's funny, Little Bird was mentioning to us about Mayer putting in a little extra this tour and caring a little bit more since it's the end, and like not wanting to go out with a whimper but a bang type thing. And I think
right.
really,
I'm like, who are you talking about? I remember now.
Is really kind of carrying through in some of this, now that you have that in your head as you watch some of this now. It really is like
I don't know if I agreed with that whole assessment, because I thought last summer they were fantastic, and they were in a transition phase because Jay was playing some shows Billy wasn't, and I feel like the fire that they caught this summer was a burning ember, like was ready to go up.
Yeah. But there's elements to it, right? Like there's reasons, like there's a bunch of, it's not just one thing that would like join in. So it's just another thing that you pay attention to a little bit more now and like notice. So that was a ripping.
I'm not into Help Slip Franklin's into drums.
Well, it's so funny you say that, because I was going to ask you, how do you feel about that stop down, kind of the way it ended and then into drums? I had that in my notes. I was like, I'm curious what you thought of that, instead of like something that trails into drums and like goes. This was like,
you end a set with it. You end a first set with it. You open a second set, or you can do it out of space if you played like a 6-song into drums, and then that would just close out the whole show. A Help Slip Franklin's, that would be the end. People might bitch about it because they're like, "Oh, it's like only getting one song, man." But whatever,
But it was it was different.
It was a weird way to go, but I gave it an arrow, because they did the spacey thing, and the beam, Mickey went over, hit the beam, which signals, we've moved on.
School's in, school's out, school started.
Right. It's like tapping in, like when you're tag team. He's like, boom, beam, all right. And then he beams again when he walks off stage. I'm out.
Beam
there
out.
It is. All right. So then Death Note. There are two people who shined on that. Clemente with the organ every time he's done it, and Mayer put on a clinic displaying his blues chops during that. It was simply, it's so beautiful. Even with Bobby singing "Your Father's Dead," he sang the father verse on Father's Day. I'm like, dude, what
it's dark. Matt puts that in there for him to sing that, though. Darkness. But
somebody should have taken it off the prompter. You mean someone should have like blacked that verse out? Oh.
Yeah, exactly. That was great though. I mean, God, yes, to your point, what a version, like what a and it's one of those songs too coming out of space, right? Like it keeps that slowness. So like that whole setup of stopping it and going into drum space was kind of then played through with not coming out with something faster, like something that picked up. It just kind of rolled into that fantastic version of it. Again, third time it's played, it's kind of in that magic number area now where it goes
Yeah.
places, like it gets to shred. And man, yeah, that was a
But
clinic, as
he
you
did. He
said.
put on a clinic. I mean, he's such a blues guitarist that again, I've never listened to his stuff outside of what he does, but you sent an article the other day about him switching guitars in the middle of a solo with Dead and Company, which we were like, oh, let's check that out. But the first line of that article was blues,
Yeah,
official,
yeah.
whatever, however they phrased it. But the first thing they said was he was a blues guitarist playing with the psychedelic rock band, So,
Right. I mean, yeah, that's
I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna
I
stick
love
with
it.
it.
Yeah, it's good.
So then we got the second throw-in. I really thought throw-in was gonna pop up in Boston because tea parties and revolutions and all.
And Bobby's line, like the whole goddamn government today or whatever, like I liked it. He was like passionate, right? Passionate singing there.
No,
And
and it
playing.
has a new arrangement. The rap, has that funky jam, and I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and listen to the other one because I was at the show. So when you're at a show, obviously you're paying in
Right.
different. You have too much sensory overload usually. But I'm going to go back and check it out. But I'm wondering if they just hit on it and Bobby just sang over it because it was that point in the song, and he's moving forward. Watching the clock, he's like, I got 20 minutes. I want to get Sugar Mag in and two others.
And we gotta hit the double encore tonight. It's a
Right.
must. We gotta get that reprise.
We owe. So all right, so throwing is I know people have issues with it. Some people have told me they shouldn't do it. The band shouldn't be political, and I don't think they really are. That and New Speedway is only political in as much as they were throwing heat at Ralph Gleason from Rolling Stone for blaming them and the Hells Angels. The Hells Angels should have been blamed for the deaths at Altamont,
Yeah, and I I don't know. It's more of it's definitely taken on more of a, I don't know. I've never had a problem with it. I think it's one of those better lyrical songs actually that and it's one of those that I feel like is good going into drums too. Like that's the one that you can go into or come out of drums sometimes with.
I always think of it attached to Not Fade Away.
Yeah.
You used to get throwing Not Fade Away all the time. They were just so comfortable with that,
because you get that drum beat, like when it's easy to go into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you drop quick enough, you can hit Not Fade Away out of anything because it's boom, it's one hard beat to start,
Yep.
Anyway, all right, so Sugar Mag, Sugar Mag, good for them.
Jam, fun. It is what it is to end the show.
It's a single Magnolia, as we've discussed before, and
that's right.
It is where it is. Now, I was told that Werewolves was not done last night, not because of time, but because they felt like they should rehearse it. They should give it a run through, maybe. So I'm hearing maybe that's what happened. But we got it tonight. It was good.
Yeah,
I would say serviceable, but
we can't say that.
I had to.
I forgot what I was going to change it to tonight, but yes, that it was. I like it. I always like it. And it's one of those where they kind of change up the who's singing and the voices and stuff. And it's always fun. I always like that song. It's great. And then you get, the play and reprise out of that. So I immediately looked at the clock and was like, where are we at? All right, we got 6 minutes. That'll work.
That's it. Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. So, another 2-night run in the bag.
It's the second time we've got a reprise for the encore. The last time was the 3-song encore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it had Saturday night after it.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish it would close a set.
Yeah.
Playing Uncle John's, playing Uncle John's Space, playing out of the reprise out of it, and then you finish the set with the Help Slip Franklins?
I don't know where you would have put it tonight, though. Like, you could have coming out of
Out of
space,
Death
then-
Note. If
then you
anywhere, it
don't
would have
get
been
the
Death
Note.
Note.
Right? And then you don't get the Death Note, and then you can't take Sugar Mags or put it before Sugar Mag and go in. So it kind of has to go where it was.
No, I did hear that the lawn was oversold. A couple people sent me messages. They said it was a mess out there, but
Really?
I seem to think that SPAC is always a mess like that.
I
That
was
they
gonna say,
always
yeah,
oversell.
I would
But like
agree.
people couldn't even fit on the lawn. They were on like the concrete or the ground that's along the side where the vendors are selling your $17 Coors Light.
So immediate reaction after this 2-night run compared to the Wrigley 2-night run. Which one? did you
I
enjoy
like
the most?
this one better. I would
I am
go
in
with this
agreement.
one.
I am in agreement with you simply because last night we had that fantastic Telio, the Deal, the Direwolf. I think tonight, like I mentioned, I thought
The second set tonight I thought was stronger.
I thought tonight's opening 4 songs were solid, though. I really enjoyed them. That Samson playing through the Help Slip Frank was otherworldly. I would say, like, I think that's some of the best playing they have done. So
We got
Yeah.
we got an interesting run coming up. We have 2 shows, Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Then we have Boston over the weekend. The week after that is only a Deer Creek show. And then we have 6 or 7 days off before Boulder. Then we get 3 Boulder, a couple days off, 2 Gorge, a couple days off, 3 San Francisco, and we're done. As much as this looked like a mountain a week ago, we're well past halfway. We're on the back
9.
15, 14.
Man, that 7-day layoff's going to be long. What are we going to do? That's an
know.
odd break.
That is. We'll have to break out the microdoses. Anyway, Wednesday night, make sure 6:15 you check out the God Street announcement. And as always,
Wednesday.
15 minutes after any Dead and Company show, we will be here.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And we'll see you on Tuesday.